It's a full moon right now. And if you've been lucky the last day or so, or evening, I should say, you've been able to see the big, huge, beautiful full moon. So, as empathic people, which pretty much my audience are, the full moon can sometimes be quite emotional, let's say. Hi, Claire. Hi, Marnie. So, how do you guys feel, you ladies, feel with the full moon? I know the energy changes, it shifts depending on what's going on, but I think it also depends on what month it is, what season it is, what's going on in your life. All of these things factor into how sensitive we are to the full moon. Well, I shouldn't say that. We're always sensitive to it, but sometimes it's a positive sensitive. Other times it's a holy crap, why is all this crap happening to me sensitive, right? Hey, Sally. So for me, actually, despite life in general, this feels like a good full moon to me. There's been, things are finally starting to come to a fruition. So for me, that's also full moon energy, right? As things, you think of the phase of the moon went from a new moon to it, going through its phases and growing and growing and growing until it's full, right? Hi, Paula Marie. Hey, Katya. So how do you feel about the full moon? And see, and Claire, she says, feeling restless and energetic. Yeah. And that's full moon energy. And you hear all the time that, from nurses and doctors, in the emergency ward, always seem to have, a higher increase of patients during this time for whatever reason, right? Well, full moon energy. So it's so good. Yay. I love that. I know. I feel that too. I feel it too. Hi, Tammy. So yeah, how do you feel about this particular full moon? See, I know we get into a mindset. Everyone's like, oh, full moon. Oh, everyone's going to be crazy. It's doesn't always have to be that way. It's what you invite in and what you pay attention to. Maybe there's good things going on around you, but we're so focused on, the shitstorm that we forget that there's rays of sunshine in there. Sally, always the night before I don't sleep, and this time my cat was supercharged. Indoor cat, crazy. Oh, I hear that craziness. And then I'm welcoming this one. Good. I skipped one here. You also said you got 5.5 hours of sleep last night, or something like that, or maybe you got up at 5:32. Katya, it's interesting. I fell asleep so much earlier last night. I wanted to do my ritual, but listened to my body. Yes, that in itself is a ritual, right? Definitely. And the full moon energy takes about 3 days on either side of the full moon to still harness the energy. So it's still doable, right? And Marnie, of sleep. Oh my goodness. Marnie says full moons just get more interesting and more interesting as time goes by. Yeah. And yeah, sleep can sometimes evade us. And, just to say a little segue about sleep is if you find that there are patterns that you go through, and you can't always forecast or predict when they're going to happen, but have some things written down, like we have a rainy day. When we were kids, we'd have a rainy day list. Well, have a can't friggin' sleep list and have that nearby for times where you are going through that, or you wake up and you just can't fall back to sleep. My suggestion is, though, don't turn a screen on. Don't turn the TV on. Don't turn your phone on. Have something else. Have a book to read. Have a journal to journal through. Do a crossword puzzle. Anything that's not electronic related, because you have a better opportunity to actually train your brain to go back to sleep. when you have a screen in front of you. We've learned over these years of smartphone screens that as soon as that comes on, something in our brain clicks in and says, oh, okay, I'm supposed to be on and paying attention to this, right? No one ever really falls asleep with the screen on, unless sometimes TVs kind of, the white noise or things can help you sleep. But I recommend no screens. If this is something that goes on, and it's helping to just kind of retrain you. It might feel a bit frustrating, but look at it this way. Even though you have the screen on and you're scrolling, you're still not finding sleep. So you're staying more awake and more engaged, and it's just training your brain to say, like a little spoiled child, okay, well, you can stay up then. So, and then Marnie, this is actually the calmest one I've experienced in a long time. I agree. And it's good you say that, because I thought it was just me. I thought, I'm doing everything right. But no, it's, that's part of it too. We have to take some personal credit. Yeah. Hey, Robert. Everything is well over here so far. How's the full moon treating you? Yeah. So full moon, right? I wrote some notes. What did I put? Full moon energy. So you just think symbolically, the full moon, it's, the earth isn't, blocking the sun going, hey, shadow puppets, the sun, or of the earth. The moon is able to fully show itself, to fully reflect that sunlight. So thinking of maybe reflecting on, what this past month or what the energy is like for you now, reflecting on the past, and not to wallow, but to just, see things from a different reflection, right? Just thinking, you look at yourself in the mirror in a reflection, everything's kind of the opposite, right? I remember as a kid, Alice through the looking glass or something, but I remember as a kid looking in a mirror and seeing the room reflected differently. It's always like, I wonder what it'd be like to live with the room switched that way. So really, it's just having that different perspective on things, right? Hey, Stephen, you're here live. Good to see you, buddy. Well, see your words anyways. So Robert, you said yesterday I was lethargic. Tonight, however, more energetic. Strange. Yeah, well, that's the moon for you. Hey, Susan, good to see ya. Oh, and Marnie, you guys are coming in fast and hot with your comments. I love it. I love it. Thank you for your participation. It's exciting. I feel like I'm not talking to myself, which I hope I'm not. Kadya says, I like writing down what I want to let go of and what I want to invite in my life and why. And I love that. I love that. As a mindset coach and business coach, Katya, you are an example of the best quality ever. And I love that. It's important to do that. So that in itself is reflecting, right? And you're allowing and you're honoring what comes up. And, another thing with a full moon, it's like, it's full circle, right? So thinking maybe that's symbolic of what have you come full circle on since the last time you've contemplated things? What changes have happened? What's changed within you? See, all these things are great for just contemplating on and journaling if you journal. And if not, maybe grab your phone and put it on voice record and do an audio journal. It's kind of interesting to try something different sometimes. Oh, thank you for saying that. I'm happy that you're here. Hey, Jesslyn, good to have you. So we're talking about full moon. Stephen says, good to hear from you. Live. Is Raphael not talking anymore? Well, she's kind of doing her thing, and once in a while she'll pop in and chat with me. But for the most part, as I began these a couple years ago, it's just me. So yeah, what else do I want to say about the full moon? Okay, so full moons are also about releasing, because, when things kind of finally get so full, you're pushing out other things. So you want to bring in the light, see the moon reflecting the sun, the shining sun. So you want to get rid of the things that are causing shadow within your soul. And the easiest way to do that is to releasing the past that's gone. And when you do that, you can allow the rebalancing of things, finding that equilibrium, right? Noticing what's out of balance. And sometimes it's not something that you can just go, oh yeah, my tire needs a bit more air in it. That's out of balance. And nothing like that. Sometimes it's more figurative than literal. Or maybe it's a feeling. Like full moon energy has that. You're like, oh, why do I feel so weird? And it's not that you have to decipher what the answer is. You just have to go, this feels weird. Check. I acknowledge that. How can I shift and rebalance so I feel content and peaceful? Because think about when you're looking up at the big, bright full moon. How do you feel? Do you feel like, oh my God, I'm freaking out, I'm going to start howling at the moon? Or does it really kind of soften you and put you into perspective of this whole universe, this vastness? And here I am like a little ant with this vastness. And it's not to make you feel small, but it's to make you feel like, there's so much more out there than my little itty bitty problems that I seem to be so focused on. Does that make sense? Paula, make space for abundant blessings. Love that. Yes. Hey, Shannon. Good to see you. And yeah, see the full moon, it softens and comforts me. Yeah, right. And that's just the best, So we think about how the full moon feels. And, some of us can't always see it. It doesn't always come around till like 2, 3 in the morning. And it's like a headlight, flashlight in your eyes. Hey, wake up. But to imagine the last time you looked at a full moon and stood there, kind of open-jawed, like, wow. Feels pretty good. So that in itself is an energy release and rebalance. Just by that. Just by talking about it right now, I'm already feeling that things are shifting within me, What do you say, Stephen? The moon is beautiful to me. Mom and I used to look at it. Yeah. Yeah. And it's really cool to look at, the constellations, the stars, the moon, and whatever phases, sometimes seeing the planets up there, how bright Venus is. And just think that other people that you know and love that are in other areas of the world, they're seeing it too. It's a connection with people. It's pretty awesome. Hey, Amy. Love full and new moons every time. I know. The poor in-between phases, they get left out. They're like the Tuesdays of moon phases. The Tuesdays and maybe the Thursdays, I don't know. But yeah, I think there's just that, there's such a demarcation of energy with there. So what else? Okay, so crystals. Let's talk crystals, right? Did you guys share the moon, like from your respective areas? I love that. That's sweet. Yeah, the universe is pretty friggin' amazing, isn't it, Stephen? I love it. Yeah, that's cool, right? And it's a neat thing. You can say that, see you, meet you at the moon. That's pretty awesome. So I was talking crystal. So, full moon is the perfect opportunity for people to recharge their crystals, right? And you know me, I'm a big crystal fanatic, crystal master, whatever you want to call me. I don't actually put my crystals out in the full moon. Oh, snap. Nope, I don't. I might in the future, but until, for one, they're everywhere. And it's like, oh Can you imagine? That would be a job in itself. It would take me a week to gather everything up just to get it ready for this day. Yeah, you and Melissa should share the moon. Definitely. Marnie, what are you saying? It shone on the waters. I sailed home from Gabriola. Ooh, love it. Love it. Like a flashlight. Yeah, leading the way. So beautiful. I love it. So yeah, who does a full moon ritual with your crystals? And and I'm not saying because I don't, you shouldn't. Like, do it, whatever you feel guided to. Oh, is it amethyst tonight? I'm gonna match my hair. So if you do want to have your crystals, it really boils down to intention with a capital I, right? With intention, have an affirmation, create a ritual, light a candle that can represent that light, and you can meditate, right? Amy, I put new ones out, and if I feel a few really need them, I do. Yeah, there's that option as well. And new ones is always good too. And Marnie, you do? Yeah. Well, I have a lot of crystals, like I said, everywhere. Paula says I have them out on my table on plates on top of a warm blanket. Oh, you can keep them warm, and that's sweet. I love it. And smoky quartz as well. Yeah, good. Those are good ones, Stephen. Yeah, so what I do then is I still use the energy of the full moon, because think about it, right? People are milling around doing their thing. They're in their concrete jungle, wherever they might be. They might not see the full moon. People still feel it, right? You don't have to be out basking in it to feel the energy of the full moon. So this has always been my excuse to not drag all my crystals out onto the windowsill, because they feel the energy. So what I do is I create an intention, and I'll meditate, sometimes very briefly, to just have that intention that the energy recharge all the crystals. So I'll thank all the crystal energy for all the work they're doing in the seen and unseen. And sometimes some of the crystals that I've been using, I'll have near me, but some crystals will just pop in my mind, crystals that I have. And as a crystal, person, that you have your special ones and you can picture them and feel them without them being near you. You know what their energy's like, what they feel like and look like. So I bring those to mind, or whatever pops in my mind is clearly the ones that need the recharging the most. And I'll hold that intention. And I might even say an affirmation like, thank you, full moon energy, for clearing and recharging the crystals so they can vibrate at the rate they were meant to. Something like that. And so it is. Yeah. And Amy says, but I have crystals everywhere too. It takes days to collect and reset. I know. So just having the intention is there, or having like a few token ones that are, they're the ones that can be in place. Oh, you like my necklace? Yeah. Well, it's moonstone. I don't wear it often, but I always wear it in the bright phases of the moon. Sometimes new moon, sometimes full moon. Sometimes people, it's too much for them at a full moon to have it. It's a lot of energy, a lot of emotion. And that's what I wanted to say about crystals too, is that what you need is what you use, right? For me, I like the feeling of the rainbow moonstone. It connects me to that full moon energy. Another nice crystal, if you feel that energy is too much, those months where it's like, oh, full moon, is selenite is really nice. It's soft energy, and it allows the light to just kind of ground. It just kind of goes right through. It doesn't kind of linger anywhere and cause more brightness where you probably don't want it. So that's another good one. Smoky quartz, like Stephen mentioned, smoky quartz. There's never a bad time to use smoky quartz. And if Rap was here, she'd definitely tell you the same thing. And any of these things here, and even rose quartz. Rose quartz is perfect because it's all about true self, gentle love. And when there's full moon energy, sometimes there's a lot of charged emotions. So that can really soften it. And, really you can play, crystals play well with others. Smoky quartz, rose quartz, and selenite, like have all of them with, with intention that you're using them for the purpose of helping you through. And it doesn't have to be more specific than that. It can just be generally have that intention, crystal prescription, for example, excuse me. Stephen says, decontaminating the stones so they're pure and ready to take on more energy. Yes. And it's not that they're contaminated. It's just we have the energy, the crystals, really, to go all science, geeky science on you, thinking of them just, take the energy side out of it. They're microscopically, they have that crystalline structure. So energy vibration within it will sustain itself and stay that vibration. But you have other things that come into play, like, yourself, you're wearing something, it's going to, what's the word? Entropy, which is going to cause things to slow down or to change. The vibration slowly starts to change because of these things that are coming, influencing it. So when you need to reset it, recharging it in the full moon brings its vibration back to the pureness of when it was just a little seed crystal growing over the eons it takes to grow crystals. So I get a little geeky on you. Sorry. Marnie, sometimes I take crystals into bed with me. Oh, yeah, me too. I haven't for a while. I used to have this. Well, I still have it somewhere. I don't know. I've started packing stuff. A Labradorite, big, round, and I would hold on to it. It was my teddy bear, and I could hold it all night long, even while I'm sleeping, and not worry about dropping it. And yeah, I'll do that sometimes. And then I did it for a few years, and then I guess I just kind of needed a break. Sometimes it's that way. We get into a habit because we think we have to do something, and then it's like, yeah, that was it was time to shift and change it. Soft energy ones, yeah, that's always good. That's always good. We touch them and they get only, and the vibrations of the stones will now be pure, not filtered. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's, and it's our intention too. And, as energy healers, we can clear stones just as easily as the full moon. But, where's the fun in that? You got to use the tools that are there. Let nature take its course as well. That's always fun. Yeah, Labradorite's one of my faves. Love it. All right. This has been a great conversation. I hope you've enjoyed it.